Welcome to NBL Now, a very special HoopsFest edition of NBL Now. We've just seen opening night between Melbourne United and Tasmania, and it's Melbourne who were winners, 88-79. I'm Jack Heverin, Derek Rucker alongside me. Nice, polished performance from Melbourne first up.
Well, I think Dean Vickerman would be ecstatic with the defensive performance. I thought they really shut down Tasmania, especially when it looked like the JackJumpers were trying to make concerted runs in the fourth quarter. And Matthew Dellavedova was outstanding. Jack White in his return to the NBL was really solid. And of course, they had a great contribution from Shea Ely. Those three guys pretty much led the Melbourne victory.
And of course, the big surprise of the night was Chris Goulding not starting. Started every game of NBL25. Had a little bit of an issue with illness leading in, but that was a bit of a different look thrown at us first up.
It was, and it gave Ian Clark a chance to get out there and get some feel. Now, Ian didn't have the greatest game, but Chris was able to come in, make a contribution. But overall, it was the defensive end that did it, especially in the third quarter. The JackJumpers were sloppy with the ball due to a lot of the pressure that was generated by Melbourne United on the defensive end. They took advantage in that third quarter, and that was the difference in the ball game.
We saw last season Matthew Dellavedova ultra aggressive. He was trying to win a spot with the Boomers, obviously, and was successful. But it looks as though he's just going to do that all over again in NBL25, because every time the ball touched his hands, he was looking to score.
With his new physique and his aggression and his confidence and his intent on ensuring that the ball gets at the basket, he is really hard to stop. He handles the ball well enough. We know he's great in distributing. He distributes out to shooters, and he also throws a great lob. But the thing is, he knocks down enough three-pointers like he did in this game tonight. If he does that just enough, Melbourne United look much better on the offensive end. But again, it comes back to the defense, and that we know he along with Shea Ely really spearhead that defense.
What did you make of Melbourne's starting, or their big man combination, I should say, Rob Lowe and Marcus Lee? Last year they had Ariel Hook-Porty and Joe Lawala-Chul. It was a luxury of big men. This time around, will it take a little while to gel, do you think?
Well, I thought they were good again on the defensive end. They don't have the offensive capabilities with Marcus Lee and Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe can shoot it, but he's not going to give you the same type of offensive kick that a JLA Jr. will. Now, Rob Lowe was really good in the fourth quarter, especially in throwing his body around and hitting people, in particular Will Magnay. Now, we hope Magnay is okay, but that's part of the game, being physical, and we know Rob Lowe never turns away from a challenge like that, and if he can apply wood on opponents' big men, that goes a long way to helping United win games.
Let's talk about the JackJumpers. They've been on the road a lot. They've been at the Blitz. They went to the Intercontinental Cup, and then they came straight here to Perth. Do you feel like it caught up with them at the back end of the game, or was there more happening with this team?
It has to catch up with you. That amount of travel is really hard to endure. The JackJumpers did a great job over in Singapore and bringing home that third place prize. But probably by the fourth quarter, it started to wear on them. The bodies got a little bit thin. And in particular, Jordan Crawford, while he was zipping around early in the game, in the second half, the defensive pressure of Ely and Dellavedova really wore him down, and he was significantly less effective in the second half as opposed to the first.
No Sean McDonald tonight and no Craig Sword. Sean McDonald had missed up to 3 months. It's been reported by Olgun Ulich at ESPN. Craig Sword out with concussion. And speaking of concussion, that's a real worry for Tasmania now. Will Magnay left the game late in the piece, couple of minutes remaining, got a head knocked and looked really wobbly on his feet. And with the way that concussion is treated now, you'd have to think that he'd be in doubt for next Saturday.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. He caught a little shoulder or forearm from Ely, and it looked like Magnay will be definitely in the concussion protocol to be reviewed probably over the weekend. And that really hurts Tasmania because they were a little bit thin up front, but now without Magnay, they lose one of the best big men in the NBL, and that will really put them under pressure to bring Gorjak Gak along, or somebody else is going to have to cover that loss.
It's only one game.
Yeah.
So no need to get too concerned, but was there anything out of Tasmania tonight that they need to address pretty quickly?
Well, I thought Doyle tried to get it going. He was aggressive as he needs to be, but the thing about Milton Doyle is he's going to have to be efficient. Tonight, I believe he was 9 for 21, 9 for 22. While those aren't terrible numbers, they have to be better for Tasmania to be a real threat consistently throughout the season. And the same applies to Jordan Crawford, who I mentioned before was relatively ineffective in the second half of that game.
So it's Melbourne winners on opening night here at HoopsFest. Tomorrow night, it's the Perth Wildcats taking on the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and it looks like it is going to be a sold-out RAC arena. Ruck, great work by you. We'll catch you next time on NBL Now.